We'll get you caught up on what they did in just a moment. We're looking at the first batter for the Everett Seagulls right now. Laying down the bunt is Bailey Foreman. Fielded nicely by Gabby Calhoun. She throws over to Fitzgerald. There is one away. So again, we'll get you caught up on what's happened here thus far. Gabby Calhoun leading off for the MTHS Hawks in the top of the first stop today. She is also a sophomore, a very young team for the Everett Seagulls. Only one senior on the entire squad, and that's Alexis Ditto. Ditto's batting in the number 4 spot, so she may or may not get up this inning, depending on what Taggart does. MTHS, well, they only have 4 seniors themselves. Unfortunately for them, there are a few of their key seniors. Maddie Christensen, Hannah Beisch, Megan Bruce, 3 of the 4. The ball is over for a strike. Strike 1, 1-1. And last but certainly not least, the center fielder, Amanda Aversano. So only 5 seniors combined on these 2 rosters today. 2 teams that are playing for their tournament lives, if you will, right now. Is that And here we go, second inning of action right now. No score so far between the MTHS Hawks and the Everett Seagulls. One team advancing on to a 6 p.m. game, the other team heading home. We'll see what happens here. These 2 teams playing each other one time earlier this year, a game in which the MTHS Hawks were victorious 9-0. MTHS with an overall record this year of 11 wins and 11 losses. Everett, a record of 9 wins and 13 losses. This is Hannah Beisch at the plate right now. Beisch, who generally hits in that either that 4 or that 5 spot. Batting number 5 today. Takes a strike, strike 1. We know that Beisch has home run capability. She's already hit 3 this year so far. Fouls that one off. Strike 2. Looking over our shoulder here, the Meadowdale-Stanwood game right now. Score is 3-0 over there. I believe Meadowdale is ahead, and it appears as though Meadowdale just hit a home run. I can see the players trotting around the bases and celebrating. We'll keep you posted on that one, as the winner of this game will play the winner of that one. Pop foul in foul territory. Along the first baseline, Ditto slides over, makes the catch, and Beisch is retired. 1 away, and that will bring up the center fielder, Amanda Aversano. Aversano swinging at the first pitch, fouls it off. Up against the fence above the dugout along the third baseline. 0-1 is the count. So Aversano, second base, Harder first, Carricker up for her first at bat. Shows the bunt, pulls it back. Say that one was a ball, she pulled back in time, so 1-0 is the count to Carricker. Carricker waits for the next pitch, gets that one right in front of the plate. We're going to say it bounced foul. Foreman, the catcher, grabbing that one very quickly. She was ready to fire down to third, but before she could do so, the umpire did in fact say that it was a foul ball. Brings up a 1-1 count to Carricker. See if Cassandra's bunting one more time. She is. This time she gets it out in front of the plate. The only play that Gordon have is over to first. She throws Carricker out, gets the job done. She pushes Aversano down to third, Harder down to second. A nice double sacrifice there for Carricker, and that will bring up the sophomore, number 3, Lauren Miller. It's exactly what you were hoping for on a bunt there. Maybe besides a base hit. You're not going to get those very often. Made sure that the lead runners advanced. Both runners now within scoring position as Miller, the sophomore, who came into pinch run a couple times yesterday, or on Tuesday rather, but did not have any at bats, is now doing so right now. Miller playing sparingly so far this year. She's 2 for 11 on the year. No extra base hits. And she does have 1 RBI. She strikes out on that one, and that ends the inning. So the Hawks strand 2. They do not score at all. We head to the bottom of the second. No score. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
To find out on westcoathletics.com. The information is entered by athletic directors and coaches, so you know it's accurate and up to date, making westcoathletics.com the place to view official scores, schedules, standings, and photos for all the schools and all the sports in the Westco Conference. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook, and check out westcoathletics.com, the official website of the Westco Conference.
And here we go, top of the third inning. No score here in this consolation loser-out game between the Mountlake Terrace Hawks and the Everett Seagulls. Back to the top of the lineup for your Hawks. Gabby Calhoun looking at her second at-bat of the game. Fouls that one off and out of play. Mountlake Terrace with 2 infield hits so far. As Christensen takes a strike, 1 and 2. And for Everett, 6 batters, 6 outs. Still looking for their first base runner of the game. So a very quick game for both teams so far as Christensen hits that one over to third base. Fielding it is Schramm. She fires on over to Ditto, who makes the out. And another 1-2-3 inning, this time for the Hawks in the foul. A very long strike. For number 9, Erica Hall, the second baseman. Hall, she is a sophomore. Seen her first at bat of the game. If you're just joining us, you haven't missed a whole lot other than some very good pitching by Erin Gordon and Gabby Calhoun. Not to mention some solid fielding as well. Mountlake Terrace with 2 infield hits so far in this game through their first 3 innings of play. Everett, 6 batters so far, 6 outs, still looking for their first base runner. Outs. No strikeouts so far for Gabby. She's letting them put the ball in play and doing a nice job of getting the Seagull hitters to place the ball near her defenders, and they've done a nice job to get the outs thus far, and everybody really getting into it too. Ball is being sprayed. Second and third in the first inning for the Hawks. But it's been a while. So first time since the first inning anybody's advanced past first base. And as we mentioned earlier, Everett's still looking for their first base runner of the game. So this is as close as we've come to having any kind of scoring threat early on here with no outs. So Hannah Beisch takes that pitch for strike two. Beisch popped up to foul territory along the first baseline in the second inning. Play more than likely Meadowdale. Meadowdale, a team that's 17-3 on the year. Beisch lines that one hard but foul right down the third baseline. What is becoming a very long at bat. Beisch fouling off at least 4 pitches since having a 2-strike count now. So if Mount Lake Terrace can advance past this game and get Meadowdale, that'll set up a very interesting matchup between two Wesco Edmonds School District opponents as Beisch takes ball. Happens if that is the case, it might come down to be careful what you wish for because Meadowdale is a very good team, but then again, so are the Hawks. Aversano swings and fouls that one away. 1-2 is the count. It's a Meadowdale team that finished third in the state last year, a team that we got to cover down in Lacey, the state tournament. Aversano fouls another one away. A team that finished third, and oh, by the way, a team that only had one senior on their entire squad last year. Now, there is a little bit of a caveat to that in that the senior was Alyssa Rubel, an all-state player who's now playing around, not sure what she's going to do. And on the play, Beisch thinking of coming home now. She's caught in a rundown. Beisch going back and forth. She finally gets tagged out, and on the play, Aversano has to dive back into second base. So fielder's choice, very well done by the pitcher, Gordon, as she initially thought about throwing it towards first base, looked back, realized that she had Aversano caught off of second. Beisch, who was halfway down between third and home, had nowhere to go, and Gordon went immediately to Foreman, who managed to run down Beisch and get the lead out, which means that we've got one away, runners on first and second, and that brings up Cassandra Carricker. Carricker swinging away at that one, fouling it off. Quick 0-2 count to Cassandra. Suddenly the wind picking up here, much like it did on Tuesday. Somewhat breezy right now, very cloudy as well. We had sunshine all day here up until about 30 minutes ago. Still feels fairly pleasant. It's not that cold out here. Temperature maybe right up around the high 60s as Carricker fouls off another one into that netting. Staying alive with an 0-2 count. Right behind her is Sammy Harder. Hawks 3, Seagulls 0. Lauren Miller tripling her RBI total for the year on that one. She's got a big smile over there on first base, and I don't blame her. The Hawks now with a little cushion and a 3-0 lead. Gabby Calhoun up to the plate one more time. Calhoun grounding out to shortstop in the first inning. She flew out to center in the third. This is what you like to see, the Hawks getting some production from the lower half of the lineup here. They came up in this inning at the number 4 spot with Hannah Wilcox leading it off. Other than a fielder's choice, they've been batting around here a little bit. Calhoun chops that one over to shortstop. Taggart flips it over to third base. Schramm getting the lead runner out. That is out number 2. So on the play, Carricker is out on the fielder's choice. Fitzgerald lines that one into the gap. It's still rolling to the fence. Miller coming in to score. To hit. And this time Gordon comes over the corner of the plate and gets the strike. Thought we had another strike before that, but the board is showing 3-1 right now. And there's ball 4, and Christensen trots on down to first base. We've been through the entire lineup here this inning. And now coming up for the second time in the 4th, Hannah Wilcox. Wilcox doubling earlier this inning and then later came around to score the first run. Takes that one for a ball. Ball 1. Wilcox, a player who seems to live for the playoffs. Last year during districts, hit a long home run against Meadowdale in the district championship game. Low ball 2, 2-0. Go apparently, and Fawn just couldn't quite make the catch. Wilcox now up for the second time this inning. She walked back, I was going to say last inning, but it was this inning, back in the 4th, and then was later out on a fielder's choice play. 1-1 count to Hannah Beisch. So not a very eventful game in the first 3 innings. And then we got to the 4th inning where the Hawks have really exploded. 7 runs thus far. Maybe sending a message to Meadowdale right now, who only leads Stanwood 6-0. I say only, but compared to this game, showing.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Pitcher trying to help herself out now. She grounded out to Sammy Harder over at third base back in the 1st inning. Gordon, the sophomore, hits that one up the middle, and much like the last at bat from Foreman, just misses the glove of Calhoun into center field. And so who knows, maybe the Everett Seagulls have started to wake up as well. The Hawks go in the first 3 innings without a run before coming up with 7 in the 4th. Now it's Everett's turn in this bottom half of the inning. Perhaps they can get some of those back. And now Sydney Taggart, the shortstop, stepping up on first base on the fielder's choice. And that will bring up the number 4 hitter and the only senior on this roster for the Seagulls, Alexis Ditto. Freshman versus senior. Freshman throwing the pitch inside. And Calhoun already ready for the next pitch. To Kohler, outside corner. 1-1 is the count. So Everett with runners on the corners, 1st and 3rd, 2 outs. Here in the bottom of the 4th inning, they still trail the Mountain Lake Terrace Hawks 7-0. A little bit inside and low. Ball 2, 2-1 is the count. Kohler, who grounded out to first back in the 2nd inning. This is only her 2nd at bat. Fouls that one off behind the plate. Hannah Beisch goes and chases it down. 2-2 count. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
In here by us. Might have to try to get another headphone plugged in. We might be able to throw him on the air here for a few minutes. Who knows? 1-0 count to Aversano. Actually, that doesn't look right, but the scorekeeper's fallen a little behind, and so is your broadcaster there. Takes that one for a strike. Scoreboard now showing a 3-1 count. I'll go with that. Aversano hits that one hard off the netting, right down the third base line. Full count. Hall keeps it in front of her, and unfortunately for the Hawks, Aversano had to wait to see what happened there, and once the ball was dropped, she had to take off to second. Play wasn't even close. She was out by a mile, so essentially all we did is switched runners there. Harder is over on first base on the fielder's choice. Aversano is out after getting on a base on balls, and that's going to bring up Cassandra Carricker.
I don't know what else she do there, though. I mean, she got to wait in case they catch it, so I think she's kind of got trapped in a bad situation.
Yeah, that could have almost been an infield fly rule. So really, Aversano, nothing she could do there. Really, she just had to stay put. And softball this year.
I have.
I know you're a big fan.
I am. It's fun to come out here, especially when it's sunny. Today it's a little bit cloudier than last time, but when it's sunny, you get to come out and watch baseball, and softball there isn't much better.
Hey, Miller is thrown at us, hits that ball right to Hall at second base. She throws it to Ditto. Hold that thought. We're going to come back to it here in about 45 seconds. But we are through the top of the fifth inning. Our score, Mount Lake Terrace 7, Everett 0. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Hey sports fans, do you want to know when and where your favorite teams in the Westco Conference are playing? Who won the game last night and what the current standings are? Well, it's easy to find out on westcoathletics.com. The information is entered by athletic directors and coaches, so you know it's accurate and up to date, making westcoathletics.com the place to view official scores, schedules, standings, and photos for all the schools and all the sports in the Westco Conference. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook, and check out westcoathletics.com, the official website of the Westco Conference.
So here we go to the bottom of the fifth inning. Mount Lake Terrace 7, Everett 0. Steve Willits now being joined by David Kruger from the Everett Herald. And David, I was starting to ask you right before that last out. Kelsey Schramm to ground out to back to the pitcher's mound, one away.
But that Meadow Glacier Peak game, that was the first time Glacier Peak beat them since I think it was like March 12th, 2012. They had won 5 straight, and it was Rachel Nyes, the Glacier Peak coach's first victory in her 2 years over Meadowdale. So they were pretty pumped afterwards. It's the first state berth for Glacier Peak. They're going for their first district title today here at 6 against Ferndale, another really tough team that I think has only lost 1 game all year for the Northwest Conference. So should be a couple of good games later on in the evening time here.
So Glacier Peak has never been to state until this year?
Not in softball.
I did not know that. Okay.
And baseball got its first district title last week, and so the softball team is trying to follow in the baseball team's footsteps.
Yeah, it could have two titles here. Yeah, that district title game from baseball is. Here comes the next pitch. Fouled off, 2-2. Hey, a lot going on this week in terms of sports in general, not just softball and baseball, but a lot of district championships right now and all the state championships next week. You guys must be pretty busy.
We were last night. I was in the office, and then we had some district golf and had some district tennis come in. I know there's a pair from Terrace that got that top seed in the doubles tournament. And golf, we got Rudy Caparas from Linwood, the senior, and he's got the course record at Legion Memorial, and he was 12 strokes ahead of everybody else.
Oh,
as you go to the Snohomish County Pro-Am here pretty soon, too, that he's a part of. So there's just some phenomenal athletes in this area, and this time of year, it's very hectic for us, but it's just a blast. I mean, next week with state track and state softball and state baseball, soccer's still going on, and Snohomish got a big win last night. It's a lot of fun for us right now.
Swung on and missed. Strike 3. That's Nina Angel Erickson going down on strikes. That's the third out, and that strikeout is brought to you by our strikeout sponsor, Icelandic Construction, and we thank them. Hey, we might as well just keep it here for a few minutes, and we'll just keep talking through the end of the inning here.
We can do that.
You mentioned golf. We're a Terrace broadcast. We have to give some shout-outs there. Matt and Mikey Jensen, the brothers from Mount Lake Terrace, also qualifying for that state tournament, so congratulations to them. And you just mentioned, I think, Tina And Lorraine, who qualified for Allison Lorraine, who qualified for doubles.
Yeah,
at the tennis level.
State.
I don't know if I think Nikki Boucher might have even been in there. I don't know how she
did.
Yeah,
she got second in singles. I think a girl from Shorewood gave her first loss of the year. I believe it was, or one of her first losses of the year. She doesn't.
A 3-0 count. Calhoun, she is now 1 for 3 on the day. Up here in the 6th inning, Hawks with a 7-0 lead already. Taking all the way on that one. 3-1 is the count. We've been talking about her off and on throughout this broadcast. Calhoun pitching very well, also had a very nice year at the plate, and she's only a freshman. Then she takes ball 4 and heads on down to first base.
Like you said, I mean, all these teams just seem, poised for repeated success next year and even the year after. I mean, Everett, it's 7-0, but Everett came back and scored 4 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning on Tuesday against Getchell to win and to get here with a huge rally. So, I mean, these games you never really know until the last out's recorded. I'm glad you brought that up because I meant to and hadn't done so yet.
Everett with their backs against the wall in the second game of the day on Tuesday. As a matter of fact, I should point out that we kept broadcasting. We kept looking over at the score and noticed that Marysville-Getchell had a fairly comfortable lead for a while. And we kept mentioning that it looked like Mount Lake Terrace was going to play Getchell today, thinking that they were going to beat Getchell was going to beat Everett.
We're early.
I'm sure you do. We, on the other hand, may not because we have to switch fields here and get our camera work all set up. But we do invite people to tune back in. We will broadcast that game, assuming Mount Lake Terrace holds off and beats Everett here. It would be Mount Lake Terrace versus Meadowdale, also here on the Sound Alive Sports Network. Wilcox stands in. It's that one foul up above us. 1-1 is the count. And that ball is hit deep into left field, heading back. It is gone. Home is now on, and that will bring up number 11, Amanda Aversano. So getting back to what I was saying, Wilcox in the last 3 innings, a double, and a home run. Not bad.
Not a bad stat line. I talked to Coach Rasmussen a little bit here on Monday for our softball preview, and one of the things we asked was, one of our storylines was, can Terrace's mashers just, get them back to state? And she had said they kind of get that they have a knack for getting that right hit, that they get at the right time. And it looks like they've been doing that quite a bit today here with 10 runs already.
Absolutely. Aversano grounds that one over to second base. Hall throws it to Ditto. Aversano is out. That is the second out of the 6th inning, and on the play, Beisch heads on down to third. And that will bring up Sammy Harder. So in the 6th inning, it'll be Fawn, Foreman, and Gordon coming up for Everett. And as we mentioned, they must get at least 1 run if there will be a 7th inning. Otherwise, the mercy rule will go into effect and this game will be over. Harder hits that one high into the air in left field. Fawn coming in to try to make the catch. And it goes off of her glove. In to score is Beisch. Harder ends up
5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Hey sports fans, do you want to know when and where your favorite teams in the West Coast Conference are playing? Who won the game last night and what the current standings are? Well, it's easy to find out on westcoathletics.com. The information is entered by athletic directors and coaches so you know it's accurate and up to date, making westcoathletics.com the place to view official scores, schedules, standings, and photos for all the schools and all the sports in the West Coast Conference. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and check out westcoathletics.com, the official website of the West Coast Conference.
And here we go, bottom of the 6th inning and potentially the final inning here if the Hawks can hold Everett under 2 runs. Gabby Calhoun with the first pitch, goes off of her arm. Wilcox fields it, fires it over, but not quite in time. And on the play, Kathy Fawn, the left fielder, reaches on an infield single. And that will bring up leadoff hitter Bailey Foreman. Foreman, who is 1 for 2 on the day so far. She grounded out back to first, or back to the pitcher in the 1st inning. and then hit a chopper right over the pitcher, Gabby Calhoun's head. Perfect. Foreman, who started off the play on first base, took off right on the pitch. She could have had a steal if she wanted it, but Gordon laid down a bunt. They threw Gordon out at first, and Foreman, who I think got a little bit cocky there, knowing that she had second
had a big
base.
lead at second there, yeah.
Easily just took a big, huge turnaround second and started heading towards third. And the Hawks weren't having any of that. Nice play by Mountlake Terrace to get her out. 2 away, and that's going to bring up Sydney Taggart. And all of a sudden, Everett is down to their final at bat here, trailing 11-1 here in the 6th inning. Outside ball 2-0 to Taggart.
Base hit by Taggart to extend the inning for Everett.
Yeah, Taggart lines that one into left field right in front of Carricker. And that'll bring up Alexis Ditto.
But they open with Gig Harbor, and then if they win the game at 1 o'clock, they play again at 4. And if they win there, they're going to Pasco.
Yeah, a lot of good sports going on this weekend. And we should mention that for our Mountlake Terrace fans. We will not be broadcasting the Mountlake Terrace State baseball game, but we do invite folks to come out. That's going to be at Bannerwood Park, where Mountlake Terrace will be taking on Columbia River.
You can follow Harold Nut Preps on Twitter for updates from that game, too, if you guys are eagerly awaiting.
There you go, Harold Net
Word.
Preps. You can follow there, or you can follow, I think, MTHS Sports will also have
Be
it.
on site.
We'll be on site for that one. I'm sure Vince DeMiro will be there since his son will be playing in that